Hello, it's Monday the 28th of August 2017. Welcome to the Purple Army podcast in association with Goldstone Wealth Management. This is episode number 97. I'm Ross McGregor, and in this week's show we will recap the latest games down south and at Braehead Arena. We'll chat about the topics raised by yourselves via Twitter and social media. First off though, we take a look at the Clan's latest signings. Hello, and welcome to Dreaming in Black and White, a new St Mirren podcast, dealing with all things from the Scottish Championship team from Paisley. A 3-0 victory over Dundee United on Saturday, Stephen. Lewis Morgan getting 2 goals, Ian McShane getting a third. Do you think we'll be able to hold on to Lewis Morgan? Do you think a bigger team will come in for him?
It's going to be difficult. He's a good player. I think some of the bigger teams in the division and maybe even the Premier League.
What do you know about St Mirren?
Nothing. I don't even know who Lewis Morgan is.
See, that's
that's the most said Stephen's talked for a long time.
See, you don't even have to know anything. That just proves it, doesn't it? We just come on here and waffle. Anyway, it is the Purple Army podcast. But where do we start? Now after that, I think somebody will come in for Lewis Morgan, but never mind. We'll have a quick go. We'll remind you, obviously, there's a Clan jersey launch tomorrow night at the Central Staircase in Braehead. Is it a 7 o'clock start, people? Does anybody know?
I believe so.
I think it is. Is it not 7:30?
Is it 7:30? Oh, we better look it up before we get into trouble. Because people will start turning up and it'll be the wrong time. We'll confirm that in case you're listening to this before you go. Also, I keep mentioning this, Callum and his wife Heather are raising money for Muscular Dystrophy UK by doing a sky jump next March. We will post the link again. Anybody that knows Callum knows, especially around the hockey world, how generous he's been, sponsoring different things like, I think he's just taken over Lanarkshire Lightning, sponsoring them as well. Obviously sponsors us a wee bit with the ball hockey club that I've just started up. He's doing sponsorship for them as well. So, you know, it's the kind of guy you want to give these things back to. So, again, we'll plug in it for Callum as well. We're going to cover, first of all, the new players that have been signed since the last podcast. Now, when we done the podcast about, I don't know, it seems like 3 weeks ago or something, I thought we would be back on every week, because there'd be a slew of signings of 2 or 3 a week to get us on pace to get enough players in for the start of these friendlies, and certainly at least for the Manchester game coming up on Saturday, the first competitive game. But it's not quite really panned out like that. They seem to be really taking their time. I don't know if a few deals have fallen through, whatever. The first guy that we haven't spoken about is Tyler Schofield. 33 years old. He's a left or right winger. 5'8", from Prince George, British Columbia in Canada. Played around all sorts of leagues, European leagues, EBL, Czech League. He's played in ECHL as well, the DEL, and the Del2 last year with Star Bulls Rosenheim. I think, looking at this guy, I think this is one of the guys that's going to put a lot of points up on the board for us. It's a guy I think who's going to be a creative spark. But as we always say, we're just kind of looking at it from an elite prospects point of view. It's disappointing he's not here yet for the games at the weekend. We're kind of hearing through the grapevine he might well be here for Thursday. He's certainly hoping to be here for the weekend. Graham, have you had a wee chance to look at Tyler Schofield?
I haven't looked at his figures yet, and let's be honest about it. What we're talking about, 47 games in DEL2, 25 goals, 30 assists, 55 points. So anything over a point a game in the DEL2 has got to be impressive. I have to say as well, a wee bit of inside track on this. Paul Gardner rates this guy very highly. So that's good enough for me. So I think he's going to be a good signing. Again, as we're going to say throughout this, it's impossible to tell for sure until we actually see these guys in ice. This is obviously somebody we haven't seen yet. But Paul Gardner recommendation, that'll do for me. Incidentally, that jersey launch is 7:30 tomorrow night.
There you go, 7:30. Thank you for bailing me out there. No Stephen, Tyler Schofield?
Yeah, on paper, he looks a great signing. He's put up plenty of points, and as Graham said, Paul Gardner rates him, and also John Tripp rates him. So I think when we finally get him in and get to see him in action, I think we'll be very pleased with his contributions to the team.
And quickly moving on, because we've got so much to get through, we've got Adam Brace. Now, Adam did make it through for the friendlies, and we'll maybe touch on Adam a wee bit later on when we're talking about the new players. 29 years old, can play either wing, 5'10". Again, played predominantly ECHL, had a few games up in the AHL, he played in the DL2. Again, a guy who can put points on the board, but as I say, we'll maybe come to him later because we're going to talk about all the players new players that did play over the weekend and in the games at Nottingham and Cardiff. The next one we've got then is Tyler Shattuck, 27 years old, right winger, 6'3", big body. He again has played a lot of games in the AHL, ECHL, and he's coming over to Europe for the Clan for the first time. Again, you're looking at this guy, he's not afraid to drop the gloves, Graham. Big body, another power forward type guy to go along with a guy that kind of impressed us, Jake Doughty, over the weekend.
Yeah, I think we may have said at the last podcast, that's the sort of player that we are really looking for, that kind of power forward sort, and on paper that this guy seems to tick the box. I noticed he was actually, he was captain for the Kalamazoo Wings when he played for them, and then went on to play for the Alaska Aces. So, 39 points in 72 games overall. On paper he seems to be the business, and if he ends up being the power forward that we're needing, then great, bring it on.
But does that mean, Stephen, looking at this guy, and we've seen Jake Doughty over the last couple of games, have we now got two potential power forwards? We've never had that before, have we?
I think so. I mean, they're both big bodies, and we'll no doubt touch on Doughty at the later on. But I think this was the first signing that really showed that the waiting game is paying off for Clan. Because I thought the last 3 or 4 signings, wherever we're at 3, have been really solid. So, yeah, delighted to have this guy on board. He's a big body. He's got a funny name. It's everything that you want in a player.
Yep. I know. I was trying to avoid mentioning that, but you had to bring it up, didn't you? I'm sure the headline writers and the tweeters and the twatters will have all sorts of things to say when it comes to use.
I made the point. I made the point already. When you see the jerseys going around with his name in the back, then you know he's made it. So that's fine.
Absolutely. Another good signing, I particularly thought, was Christopher Bjorklund, 29-year-old D-man, 5'10", from Sweden. Played with the Sheffield Steelers last year. Left them a bit early. Played 40 games. Left them a wee bit early to go back to the team he came from in Allsvenskan to finish off their season. You never know the real reason for that. Some people say it was money. Some people say he didn't settle in Sheffield. Some people say he didn't like the setup in Sheffield. We will never know. As far as I'm concerned, this is a good signing. Smart D-man, cracking skating ability. He's a good mover and passer of the puck. Kind of maybe a bit more on the offensive side as well. Again, we'll come on to what guys we've seen over the weekend, but a class player, a class signing. You're just kind of wondering if, what the story was with him leaving and if he's going to settle and stay for the year. That's the only thing at the back of your mind, Stephen, yeah?
Yeah, we were all discussing this one, if we could remember him at Sheffield last year, and the answer was no, which is a good sign, I think, because you don't want to remember D-men, because most of the time you do that it's for the bad reasons, Also, the reaction of the Sheffield fans over the news of the signing has got me really happy, because they're unhappy that he's came to us, so that's a good sign as well. So hopefully everything works out for him in Glasgow rather than Sheffield, and we've got him for the full season.
Yeah, you always get the element among a fan base who say, he was rubbish and we didn't want him anyway. but there are an awful lot of people on different forums, Sheffield fans, saying that they were disappointed in they'd taking him back. Graham, the whole D so far looks as if they've done an upgrade in last year, don't they?
Let's be honest about it. That probably wouldn't have been that difficult, but no, really. I mean, we'll talk about the players. Obviously, we've seen in action already, but I think I tend to agree with what yourself and Stephen were saying. I think Bjorklund was again further proof, and as indeed have the further sign that was announced today. That's proof that the idea of hanging around to wait for the right players, which is what Tripper's been saying for the last 2-3 weeks, rather than just filling the roster. I think this is just further proof of that. And he certainly impressed me. Same as Stephen. I think we were all the same. We couldn't really remember this guy, which is probably good in the D-man, as Stephen said. But again, I tried back. I had a look at some of the reaction at the time when he left. I think the idea was he'd gone back to his home club. Maybe not so much because of money, but because they had the chance of actually winning something, which obviously the Steelers ended up winning something, but that's not really the point. Maybe it was something that the Steelers that he didn't quite like. But as I say, as long as we can hang on to him, then that's good. I think he looks a very, very good signing.
And again, we had news this morning, and this could be the guy that could be exciting the fans to get along and watch the team if they aren't already. Ryan Patulny, 32-year-old centre's played over 100 NHL games between the Flyers and the Oilers, although, it's been about 7 years, I think, 6-7 years since he's been in the NHL. Stayed in the AHL for a good period of time, solid scorer, point scorer, contributor, in the Hershey Bears and Hartford Wolfpack. Came over to Europe in 2015 to play in the Liga with the Pelicans, played in the Czech League, the EBL. His production seems to have dropped a wee bit since he's come to Europe. Not so much last year, he was kind of nearly a point a game in EBL. But he's a solid sign, he's an exciting signing. We kind of were told and we were led to believe, Graham, that we wouldn't get a kind of marquee signing, but if there is a guy that's close to being a marquee signing, it's got to be this guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And again, referring back to a previous chat we were having about this, and I know that it's not just about, ex-NHL stars, because we've had ex-NHL stars who have disappointed. We have some that have been very good. But, this is a guy who's bringing our first NHL experience, rather than Tripper himself, obviously. But in terms of on the ice, this is the first NHL experience that's coming to us. And, and it looks great. I mean, 126 NHL games. And within that, 22 goals, 27 assists, 49 points. It's not bad for the NHL. I tend to agree. I would regard this guy as a marquee signing. He should be a points machine. In terms of what's happened just in his recent European time, we don't know. Maybe it was just a style of hockey or whatever. He's going to have a far more North American style of hockey to play here, so maybe that will suit him better. But I'm very excited about seeing this guy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he's come over and he's played in Europe and it's the bigger ice. But in Britain, over in the UK, the Elite League, we play a more North American style, which might help get him back on. Not that he's off track. I'm not saying he's off track. I don't mean that. But it's just his scoring rate seems to have taken a wee knock in a couple of years previous. But Stephen, you excited to see this guy come over play? He's a natural centre, first-line centre I think we were looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Looks a fantastic signing for us, and it's another one that's come out of left field a bit. We've had a wee chat amongst ourselves about rumblings we've heard of signings, and I don't think many of them have come true right enough. But this is another one that nobody had seemed to pick up on. So it was a good surprise this morning, and one I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yep, and that kind of sums up. That takes us up to date. So what have we still got to sign now? We've still got two. Is it two?
Yeah.
Two more imports.
Two to go, yeah, which I reckon will be a forward and a D-man.
Yeah, we're sitting with, one, two, three, four. Yeah, we're sitting with four import D-men at the moment, so you would assume that would round up to five. We'll talk about Josh Grievenson in a minute, but you'd assume he'd be the kind of spare. Certainly maybe pushing Zach, but he'll certainly, you would think, would be the spare. So, yeah. I think it might, if you were talking in an ideal world, a D-man, but you'd really like to get a Scott Pitt type sniper, just an out-and-out goal scorer. I'm saying that Scott Pitt wasn't just an out-and-out goal scorer. He was a great two-way player as well. But you know what I mean? Just somebody who's going to maybe lead the league or lead the team in scoring. Although,